Happy Friday evening. Hope everybody's doing great. It is October 17th, and we've got time tonight. Got to kind of have the house to ourselves for a few hours, which lets us kind of play around downstairs. And I thought, well, why don't we do a quick live, and talk about the conversation that I had with my Milwaukee rep and a kind of a random Home Depot associate that was working in the tool section a couple days ago. Was it yet 2 days ago? Was it yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday. And I was up at Home Depot grabbing some things and decided, I was like, you know what? There's the Milwaukee rep right there. I've seen him. There's a couple guys that I've seen that wear the Milwaukee shirts, and he didn't look like he was too busy. And I was like, you know what? I haven't talked to this one yet. I talked to the one that was there a while ago, like 2 years ago, year and a half ago or something. This is a younger guy, and I was like, I'm going to ask him about the Milwaukee hack, because why not? Right? So go up to him. Actually, he actually made contact with me a little bit because I was debating whether or not I wanted to get into this discussion with him or not. He seems like a nice guy. Again, a younger fella, younger guy, and we just kind of started chatting a little bit. And he's like, "Hey, you looking for anything? Can I help you with something?" And I said, "Well, no. What you got any Milwaukee clearance stuff that I don't know about? Any of the end caps?" And he just kind of laughed. He was like, "Actually, the only thing I really have that's of interest right now is I think it's the Milwaukee. There's a pack out there with like the uh, the top off M18 battery, something else, and I think the M12s have one also where it's like a what is it, like the neck light top off M12 something. I don't know. It's like $99 and $89 or something. He goes, I've only got like one or two of these left if you're interested. I was like, yeah, I do love the top off. I do love getting any kind of lights and stuff. I mean, I have Milwaukee lights just laying around everywhere because you can never have enough lights, right? In either M18 or M12. And so I was like, yeah, is there anything else? I was like, I'm really looking forward to scoring uh, the Milwaukee hedge trimmers. I said, I'm looking for I think the 30 inches are the large ones. They're like, it's like 300 and, what is it, 329 or something, 350 or something like that. And he's like, he goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't think those are going to go on sale or anything. But he goes, you never know. Sometimes we'll package that in with a deal with some other like batteries or whatever. And I was like, all right. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take my chance. I'm going to talk to him about it. I just don't want to be a weirdo, right? And he wasn't busy, wasn't very crowded or anything. I said, hey, can I ask you something? And as we're talking, the Halloween decorations are right behind us. And there's two families I think that were there. They had like, it seemed like 50 kids, and they were all just tapping on the stuff and making all this noise and everything. I was like, hold on. So we walked down the Packout aisle, and I said, hey, I got to ask you something. I just started smiling like I am right now, right? I said, what are your thoughts on the Milwaukee hack? And he kind of, the way he looked at me, it was like he didn't understand what I said, but he actually didn't hear me. And I said it again. I said, what are your thoughts on the Milwaukee hack? And he's like, well, what are you talking about? And I was like, the getting some Milwaukee tools at a really good discount that comes with a free tool or free battery. You return the battery, and you get the line item cost back onto your credit card, thereby getting the tool that you want at almost like half off. And he's like, are you using the tool or the battery that you're returning? And then I was like, no. He goes, oh. And I was like, do you know what the Milwaukee hack is, right? He goes, I think I've heard about it. And I said, do you get on Reddit at all on the Milwaukee Tool subreddit? He goes, yeah, every once in a while we'll go on there just to kind of see what customers are talking about, or if there's any problems, we want to kind of stay on top of it or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, so nothing on the Milwaukee hack? He goes, I think I've heard of it. I was like, is it something that you guys are concerned with? Anything that's a problem? You guys have a problem with us doing it? He's like, he goes, from the Milwaukee side of things, as long as tools are going out the building, like going out and we're still making money off of stuff, he goes, we don't care. I was like, okay, so just to make sure that we're on the same page, I was like, so I explained the Milwaukee hack. He goes, yeah. And he goes, I get it. He goes, yeah, you, he goes, it's different from the bundles. He goes, on the bundle stuff, you guys can't return a partial. You have to return. I said, yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking the Milwaukee hack. It comes with, you get a free tool or a battery. It's not all Milwaukee tools. It kind of changes either on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, whatever. And I said, I had heard about it for years. He goes, yeah, it's been around for years, I think. And I said, I've gotten, I don't know, 8 to 10 different tools this way. He goes, oh, you probably got pretty good deals. I go, yeah. I said, I think it started out with the M18 tower light. I forget what the tower light is. I got that one for like 109. And then I told him about the Packout, told him about the M12 job site radio. And we're just having a good time talking. I'm like, I am making ends. I'm making a connection with this other Milwaukee rep, which is always a helpful thing. I said, so you guys don't have an issue, right? He's like, no. He goes, trust me. It's the Milwaukee hack. And he went like this, Milwaukee hack, or whatever you guys want to refer to it. He goes, we've never had one meeting about it. Never had one meeting about the Milwaukee hack. He goes, as long as you guys aren't like stealing equipment. He goes, we have meetings weekly on shrinkage of like Milwaukee tools walking out the door. He goes, that's why you've seen in the last few years that, everything's locked up and it's hard to get, to get your hands on the tools. You got to have somebody come over and get it out of the cage or something. He goes, but as far as the Milwaukee hack, he goes, we've never had one conversation for as long as I've been here at Milwaukee. And he goes, and I've never even heard of a Home Depot associate or manager, having a meeting with us about any of that either. And I said, really, the only thing that I can think of that you guys would have an issue with or problem with would be like on the returns, like because we're returning the batteries or we're returning a tool, something that we order online, so it's not in your normal inventory here and you have to take it back in at the store. And as I was explaining that part to it, as far as the return and having to restock or whatever, he was like shaking his head. And he was like, that nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. So we were talking for, I would say, a good 15 minutes or so. And then down the tool aisle, I swallowed a little wrong there. But so coming down the tool aisle was one of the older gentlemen that work in the tool section. I've seen him a few times, not really a super nice guy or anything, but always one that'll say, hey, can I help you or whatever, but you never want to say you need help because you seem like you're bothering him. And so he was kind of standing there, and I didn't know if he was like listening on our conversation or if he was waiting for the Milwaukee rep to walk away from me. And I said, hey, let me ask you a question. I said, have you heard of the Milwaukee hack? And he acted like I was bothering him. Yeah, no. Didn't ask me what it was or anything. He just said no, he hadn't heard about it. I said, you have, okay, whatever. So the conversation with the Home Depot associate didn't go much further than that. But the Milwaukee rep, I'm telling you, this is the second rep I've talked to. This is the second associate in the last 2 years that I've mentioned the Milwaukee hack to. I've talked to one store manager about 2 years ago. They don't care. Now, that's not to say that all of them don't care. And that's not to say that among the corporate meetings or something that it's not being talked about. I don't know. All I can all I can tell you guys is of the people that I have talked to in an official capacity at Home Depot or that wear the Milwaukee collared shirts that, stock the things or whatever. They don't care. And like the Milwaukee rep said, as long as there's Milwaukee tools going out the door that you're paying for, that they're making a profit on, that's all they care about. So I said, there are a few posts every now and then on Reddit about somebody saying that they did the Milwaukee hack and then their account got flagged or they got banned from Home Depot. And he goes, that's somebody doing something else. And I said, that's what I was saying. I said, I've been in not necessarily arguments, but conversations with people that ask me or make a comment. Well, I heard of somebody whose account got banned, or somebody on Reddit has this long post. Their account got banned. They're no longer able to buy on their account or something because of the hack. Milwaukee guy was like, I think that sounds like they're doing something else. Like either they're returning thousands of dollars, and what he was saying is what I have said before regarding the Milwaukee hack also is the people that are saying that they're having issues or their accounts have been banned because of the Milwaukee hack, they got in trouble, whatever. They're either doing something in addition to the Milwaukee hack and their accounts get banned or flagged for some reason, and it just so happens that they also do the Milwaukee hack, so then they attribute that their account getting banned or whatever to the Milwaukee hack. But the Milwaukee rep in front of me said you're not doing anything wrong. You have the receipt, you're not opening it up, you're not doing anything else. And although even if you did open it up, it's just like any other sale. You have X amount of days after you purchase something, just like with a normal sale. As long as you have a receipt, way to prove that you bought it there, you can either get store credit or money back onto your credit card or whatever. So it's like, as long as you're not stealing, he doesn't see the problem. So I think what we can take from that, and what I can take from it, is at least the people that I have talked to that are from Milwaukee or from Home Depot officially, I would love to get somebody on camera on it, but who's going to want to do that? Nobody's going to want to do that. I think we can, at least I can say, is at least of the people that I've talked to that are from Milwaukee, from Home Depot, there's no issue with the Milwaukee hack in it of itself. So that's not to say, though, and I am open to this as well, that maybe those people that work for Milwaukee or Home Depot that I have talked to just haven't heard that is an issue. You know what I'm saying? So I still feel confident, and I still feel comfortable in not only talking about the Milwaukee hack, but also explaining how to do it online for other people to understand and to get a good discount on some great tools. I keep grabbing my little light here. It's the only thing I've got right in front of me just to represent Milwaukee. But there's nothing wrong with getting good deals on Milwaukee. And look, even at the hack prices, Milwaukee and Home Depot are making off pretty good, right? So we're not taking food from a baby or anything like that. I feel comfortable in that I have actually talked to people then, right? Again, that's not to say that there aren't people out there that have had issues. The only problem is I can't engage in a conversation with them to get all of the information, to get enough of the information. I've read those Reddit posts. You know, the ones that warn you about doing the hack. You're going to get banned. You're going to whatever. I got banned here, and then it's like 10 paragraphs of details of stuff. But every single one of those that I read, you're like, well, it sounds like you're doing a lot of not only the hack, you're returning a lot of equipment, like thousands of dollars. And I'm sure there is a threshold at Home Depot that tracks. And if money is showing, if they're losing money or you're causing problems, yeah, you're going to draw attention to yourself. If all you do at Home Depot is nothing but the hacks, maybe that causes a problem. I don't know, maybe they're like, every deal you're bringing stuff back. But in the course of the amount of stuff that, I just purchased, and I'm not purchasing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not in the trades. I'm a weekend dad that tries to fix things here and there when I can. Right? I think I probably spend the average that the weekend DIYer spends at Home Depot. And of that, in the last 2 years, I've done, again, 8 to 10 Milwaukee hacks. And not once has it ever been an issue. I know some people say, there was one person on here yesterday or the day before that said that they had one person in customer service that every time they did the hack, they're like, oh, tisk, tisk, tisk. And it just doesn't make sense to me unless you're doing it at such a rate to where you're drawing maybe too much attention to yourself and you're returning way too much. I don't know. But I will be I don't mind being the canary in the coal mine and say, at some point, if I go to hack, if they ever come out with the hedge trimmers to where I can hack that, and I go in and they're like, hey, you can't buy. This credit card does not go through on this account or whatever. I'll be the first to come out here and tell you guys on this. Again, I've said it several times too. I'm not out to try to put negative energy out there. I'm not out to try to do bad things. I don't want other people to do bad things if it's wrong. If there was any little part of me that thought that something was wrong with the Milwaukee hack, I wouldn't be so out there with making content about it. To the contrary, I'm like, hey, it's kind of a cool thing. I just know how I felt the first year or two that I heard about this, and I was reading about people doing this Milwaukee hack. I was like, oh my God, how are you guys getting these tools for so cheap? And even if they were to explain it, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And then that first time, you're always, everybody remembers their first Milwaukee hack, right? You actually feel like you're doing something wrong. I guarantee you hook up the blood pressure machine to a lot of us. Hook up that blood pressure machine on your very first Milwaukee hack, and your blood pressure is a little, you got to take the stuff back, and you're standing in line at customer service. You go up there and oh my God. And then, you just so happen to see law enforcement or something. You're like, oh my God, they put out the call. APB on the guy doing the Milwaukee hack. My first time, I'm going to get busted. Yeah, you just have it in your head that you're thinking you're doing something dirty. You're doing something wrong. But like I said, every single time that I have done it, all I can report on are the times that I've done it. I am in and out so fast, and the person that is handling the transactions at customer service could care less. It's one of dozens of returns that they do in a day, right? I don't know who's out there. If bottom line, I just think that if people are having issues with the hack, they're doing something else. That's all I can say. with that, if you guys have questions, let me know here. But I am just going to go and peruse while I've got some time today, because I'm just kind of curious if there's anything else out there Milwaukee wise. That could be hacked, or maybe there's a deal of the day. And after a while, it's like it's the same, kind of the same stuff. Maybe it goes away, it comes back that you can hack. The new stubby. I just don't need the stubby. But that's never prevented me ever from buying something else, because I'll just I find the need to do it. But just out of curiosity. So what? Let's see what this is going to be. So the half-inch stubby on the M12 side, 227 if you're going to hack it. I mean, that doesn't do anything for me. Really, the only thing that I was really excited to get on the two things that I was excited to get on the Milwaukee hack on the M12 side would be the job site speaker, and then the air inflator, the M12 air inflator. I think I hacked that. At some point, you just kind of you start to kind of forget what you hacked. Let's look and see what's on the M18 side, shall we? There's nothing exciting on the M12 thing right now. All right, so let's go to. So it's always, it's the whole thing about the hack is the free tool, free battery, right? 3 ports down. I got my M18 2.5 gallon vacuum for a little over $100 thanks to the hack. Same, it'll come in handy someday. Yeah. And you think, the people that are anti-hack, you really think that Home Depot, Milwaukee, are like, oh my God, 3 ports down, walked out of here with an M18 2.5 gallon for $100. We didn't make our 60% profit margin. They don't care. In the long run, we're the suckers because we get so it's your gateway drug. You start getting deals on Milwaukee, whatever. You just start ending up you buy more in the long run. They're the ones laughing. Yeah, I mean the Packout vac is. I mean I think the Packout vac is a no-brainer for a hack. I think like everybody, if you're gonna do the hack at some point and you haven't done it and you just want to get your feet wet, just do it on the Packout vac if you don't have it already. I mean, for one, it's been hackable for months now. Retail price $199. That hasn't gone up. Prices on a lot of the Milwaukee tools have gone up in the last few months. I believe on the M18 Packout vac, it's been pretty steady at $199. So if you were to add the battery, so that takes it to 107.61. So that's pretty comparable to about the cheapest that you're going to see the Milwaukee Packout vac hacked. I think some people, depending on what you add in the area that you're in, you can get that down to about 104. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So if you add the impact driver, then you can get that Milwaukee Packout vac down to 104.76. So that's what I remembered there. So the options that they give you to when you shop that offer, like right here, the free gift with a purchase. A lot of times I'm very cavalier about, well, it doesn't matter. Just pick the battery or the impact driver. And if a couple bucks, and you look, a couple bucks is a couple bucks. I get it. I understand. So if you're looking to really maximize, what you're going to want to do is just add both of the tools, both of the batteries, both of the items, and see what takes that Packout vac cheaper. So with the two here, the 1/4 inch impact driver is going to take the Packout vac down to 104. So that'll be the cheapest that you can get the Packout vac for. And that, like I said, if you don't have the Packout vac already and you haven't done the Milwaukee hack, just do it on that. Just get your feet wet on that and just get it. That vac is so, you use it for just about anything. You will find excuses to use it. And the thing is, okay, well, the lay people, I'm a lay person. Some people, well, how hard does it suck? Does it suck as hard as your shop vac or anything else that you have that you plug in or something? No, it doesn't. But you don't need that extra suction that you get from a standard shop vac for most of the things that we do. Okay? But the convenience of having the Packout vac, you carry it around, you can use any one of your batteries to do it. It's a deal to just do your very first hack. Just get the vac. Just get the vac. And then if you feel dirty, you don't like doing the hack or something, then just be like, you know what? I tried it once, didn't like it. But that vacuum is, I love it. It's not perfect. And I know there was one guy early on, he was like, oh, this guy must be getting paid by Milwaukee. Just completely ridiculous. And there is a difference between being a fan and being a shill, right? I'm a fan. I'm a Milwaukee fan. Okay? I'm not a shill for Milwaukee. The Packout vac is awesome. But there's some things that kind of annoy me with it also, and I posted on that the last couple weeks. The attachments, a lot of the air tips. I have issues with those when you're using it. They just become loose. That's a major annoyance when you're working in your car, you're going around the house, you're doing things. You can't just hold on to the air tip tool. You can't just hold on to the tubing, the air hose. You have to hold on to the air tip and the hose, and you have to hold it together so it doesn't come loose because it just fits on by friction, right? You twist it on, you kind of semi-lock it down, but the more you kind of agitate and use it, it becomes loose. It's an annoyance. It's not a perfect tool. I'd like to see them add some kind of a quick lock to it. A little thumb thing that you can depress and then take the things off. A fan, not a shill. If you do get the Packout vac, make sure you get this. You guys already know what we're going to here, right? Packout vac bags. You got to get the bags. The fleece bags. Oh, these are so nice. Pricey, about $6 a bag. And again, I still haven't had anybody find something that's like cheaper, getting a big 10-pack of bags. The best tip I've gotten from really in the comment section when I was turned on to these bags, the best tip is, okay, well, you can cut the end of the bag, dump it out when it's full, and then just clip it back up and reuse the bag. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to try that. Now, sometimes depending on what you're sucking in there, like right now, my current bag is about 2 weeks worth of ash from the fireplace, spider webs, a handful of flies, and I would venture to guess about 10 different kinds of spiders that live here in Missouri that are in and around my house. That the wife is just like, can you take care of the spiders? She just points, can you go get your vac? Which I'm like, that's a fun thing, right? Normally you have to haul out something to go get the spider, go haul out your shop vac for something. Now you get to go use a fun tool. I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me know if there's anything else I can have it suck up while I got it out. But these bags are awesome. Super easy to install. I wouldn't say it's very straightforward. For some of you tool guys, trade people, you've been around this stuff a long time. Yeah, it is probably straightforward. Basic DIY dad, you're going to look at it. You're going to look at the attachment that comes with the bags. You're going to look at the cardboard, and you're going to be like, there's some tabs here. Where do these go on here? I had to do a video on it. But once you see it done, it is pretty easy. All the stuff just goes in there. It's amazing. No matter what you suck up with that Packout vac, sawdust, spiders, spider webs, dirt, dust, hair, pet hair, you open up your canister, that thing is pristine and clean because everything's going in that bag. It's great. So the money you save, if you hack it, if you hack the vac, buy yourself a pack of the bags. Okay? All right, let's look real quick if there was anything else on the M18 line that we missed. And here's the thing also, even if it doesn't show officially on the website, if you ever have time, just stop in at your Home Depot, make friends with either your rep or one of the tool guys. Because they will have clearances of certain tools when they're trying to make room. And they'll be at the end of some end caps or in a section of the store to where you can get some really good deals. Like, I'm glad I went up to Mike, the Milwaukee rep. Because next time I see him, I'm just going to point to him and say, hey, what you got? What you got for me? Because they want their customers to be happy too. They want to play the hero. Air inflator, that's another one that I'm like, we've talked about that a lot. The M18 air inflator. Is it worth $199? Look, if you get it for $199 and it works well for you, then it's worth it. I think $199 is a little pricey. I mean, we all know we pay a little premium to have the red, to have that Milwaukee stamp on it. $199 is a bit pricey. But you can get that air inflator, I think, for about what, $109? That's what I got mine for. There's only one thing we can add to it. So it's this starter kit with the two 6-amp-hour batteries. I think this actually only takes it down to like 119, 117 right now. But normally, prior to this, you could get it down to like 109, which is what I got mine for. Yeah, 119. So if you were to hack the air inflator, the M18 air inflator. You can get it for 119. I think that's a great tool for 119. I think that's a fair price. That's probably what the fair price should be, the fair price list price. If you're going to compete with the other brands and their air inflators. I saw one who was advertising. It was what was the air inflator? And it already had the air chuck. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was like $89 retail. And it fills up your truck tires and everything. Whereas, on the M18 air inflator, you have to, it just comes where you have to actually screw it down on the, what is it, the Schrader valve. And then I had to go buy a $40 adapter and the locking air chuck for this to make this the perfect tool. But now you're talking, now that's a $250 tool that I'm using, which I love. But the other brands, you get it all with the locking air chuck, and it's under $100 already. But that's part of playing in the Milwaukee pool, right? We're going to overpay a little bit, and that's fine, because that's what we choose to do with our money. I think really the only thing that has raised everybody's, like, when I tell them about the Milwaukee hack, aside from just the good deals or whatever, when I got the Milwaukee mower for $599, I think that was like, what? $599. Now I didn't luck out and get the Forge batteries. So I got the older 12 amp hour high outputs. But at $599 and the 12 amp hour high output batteries, that's a fantastic deal. Yeah, nothing really new on the hacking front that I'm seeing. So, if you are kind of late to what I said early on in the live, so yesterday I actually went up to the Milwaukee rep that was at my store, Mike. I asked him, "What are your thoughts on the Milwaukee hack?" They don't care. They don't care. They don't have conversations about it. Bottom line, he told me as long as Milwaukee tools are going out the door and we're not stealing them, they could care less. So he told me he's not once been in any kind of meeting with Milwaukee to where they talk about the Milwaukee hack or how to stop it. Even though it's been going on for years, it's just not on the radar. Could care less. He kind of knew about it, but it wasn't on the top of his head. Like when I asked him, "What are your thoughts on the Milwaukee hack?" he looked like he didn't hear me. Like he didn't quite understand. He wasn't really sure. But when I kind of explained, he goes, "Oh yeah. Not a big deal at all." And then I ran it by the older tool guy, the older associate that works at Home Depot, Mr. Grumpy guy, who never looks like he really wants to help you out. I mean, he'll come up. Can you need help finding anything? But you feel guilty about asking because you don't want to piss him off. But he said he hadn't even heard of it. I said, as he's standing there again, I think he was waiting to talk to the Milwaukee guy, and I said, "Hey, what are your thoughts on the Milwaukee hack?" I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "He doesn't even know." That's what I did to the Milwaukee guy, because I turned back to the Milwaukee guy. He goes, he doesn't even know. So I hope that makes you guys feel better about it, or gives you a little bit more information that we're not just making this stuff up. So before we get out of here, I'm going to clear out my cart. I want my cart to start fresh every time I get here. Remove. Remove. One of these days, I'm going to hopefully get somebody on that has had a problem, that's claiming that their account is banned or something got shut. They're not allowed to buy from Home Depot. I would love to get them on here just so I can ask them questions. And I think other stuff goes on. I think they're maybe doing other things, and it's not just simply the Milwaukee hack. But I'm not there. I don't know. I don't know their full story. So, all right. Well, that's all I got on this Friday. Pretty laid back Friday evening. I'm gonna go finish my my drinks. Maybe watch a movie or something. I still have, I think, another hour or so to myself. No Milwaukee products to buy tonight. I told you guys about talking to the Milwaukee rep, talking to the Home Depot sales associate about the hack. Not a problem. Don't worry about it. As long as you're not stealing, as long as you're not, that's all you do. Nothing you have to worry about. So, anybody got any questions before we go? I appreciate you guys hanging out. We just hit, by the way, we just hit 500 subscribers on the DIY channel. And I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much. We just started that a few months ago. And we're having fun. I am your below average weekend dad that tries to do DIY. A little because I have to save money. But it's kind of fun. You get the right tools. And that's the main thing. All these years, I never had the right tools. That's why I always hated fixing things. We had a little more disposable income, and prior to kids or whatever, we just bought new stuff. Dishwasher, buy a new dishwasher. Washer, dryer, get a new washer, dryer. Something goes wrong with the car, take it in, spend $1,500. Now I'm all about that DIY life. You know? With the truck a few weeks ago, remember that? The fuel pressure sensor. It was throwing up error codes, so we failed our emissions test here in Missouri and St. Louis. We have to get emissions tests every year or 2 years to get your tags for your license. So my son's truck, it's a 2003 Chevy Silverado, got 207,000 miles on it. Failed the emissions. Came back, the code was something to do with the fuel pressure sensor. And everything that I saw for that particular truck and everything was saying, okay, I either have to siphon out the gas or at some point get the gas out and drop the fuel tank or take the bed off the truck. And so I kind of, I stewed in it for a while. I was like, oh man, I don't want to do either of those two things. And so I got under there and started looking around, and I was like, I think I can do this by just using my hand and arm and tweak it up there and use the force. It just feels my fingertips. $8 part later, which that was all that the fuel sensor cost. Like $8. Up with my hand, pulled the old sensor out, put the new one in, put the cables back in. Again, I'm not a car guy. I'm not a truck guy. Never have been. I am now, kind of. Learning all this stuff as I go. Took it back up to Firestone to get the emissions test done. We passed. And on my way out, I said, hey, let me ask you something. the fuel pressure sensor that I changed on my own, what would you guys have charged me if I just said, hey, why don't you, can you guys fix it? He goes, well, we'd have to drop the fuel tank and change it. He goes, to be honest with you, it'd probably be somewhere between 600 to 1,000. I said, okay. Took the truck back home, got home that night, told the wife, hey, guess how much they would have charged us for Firestone to fix our problem so that we'd pass the emissions test. And then she was, and how much what did you do it for? Well, $8 for the part, and then 2 weeks worth of back problems because I'm on the ground underneath, laying on the concrete in an awkward position and tweaking out my neck, which then tweaked out my back. But for under $10, I did it. So like I said before we got into this DIY lifestyle, I would have just had Firestone fix it. $600 to $1,000 done, pass the emissions test, and be on with it. We can't do that these days. I've got to figure out how to fix things myself. And I was rewarded by a $10 part and zero labor and 2 weeks worth of back problems. But that's fine. I love it. I love it. And I appreciate, all my subscribers that are out there. You guys hanging out, having fun, helping me through a bunch of the DIY problems, giving me suggestions, helping me out. There's more of us out there that don't know what the hell we're doing, but we just have the right attitude of, well, we may not know how to do it, but we can figure it out. We can troubleshoot. We can try to do it ourselves. We can save some money doing it. And then once we do it one time, we've learned something that we can apply to the next time. That's the best part of it. So, all right, you guys have a great weekend. Another full day of college football tomorrow. That's all I'm doing, probably sitting around watching college football. I don't have really anything pressing that I have to fix. I've got a couple DIY long-term projects I'm working on around the house. I just don't think I'm going to get to them. At least not tomorrow. So, have a good weekend. We'll see you guys.